Many people walk through life waiting for a sign, but the chosen ones don't wait. They notice, they respond, they act. In Shaolin tradition we say, when the mind is ready, the teacher appears, but when the soul is ready, the path opens. So ask yourself, do you still seek comfort over truth? Are your actions aligned with the person you want to become? Or are you sleepwalking through time thinking tomorrow is guaranteed? Before this month ends, your habits, your focus, your energy must change. The universe rewards intentional movement, not delay, not excuses. You are not here by accident. You are drawn to this message. You were chosen to see this because something in your spirit is ready. Your future is not found in motivation. It is built by discipline, clarity, and the courage to act while others wait. So today, do not look for approval. Look for the next step. Take it. Because once July ends, that door will close. And only those who moved, who believed, who acted, will walk into August as transformed beings. And this is how your life begins to change. In this world, we are constantly surrounded by signals, some loud, some subtle, but the difference between the ordinary and the chosen lies not in the signals themselves but in the awareness to recognize them. Many individuals live their lives in a state of numb repetition. Their eyes are open, but they do not see. Their ears hear, but they do not listen. Their hearts beat, yet they are not alive to the rhythm of life. A sign may appear in front of them, a word, a moment, a chance encounter, but because their awareness is dulled, the message passes by like the wind. It is not that they are unlucky or unworthy, it is that they are unaware. In Shaolin philosophy, we are taught to sharpen not just the body but the mind, so that even a whisper from the universe can awaken something powerful within us. To be chosen is not to be special in the eyes of others. It is to be attuned to the subtle dimensions of reality. You do not need magic. You do not need miracles. You need presence. When the monk trains in the temple, every movement is deliberate, every breath aligned with purpose. Why? Because discipline builds sensitivity. Sensitivity builds awareness, and awareness reveals what is invisible to the masses. The chosen do not wait for perfect conditions. They observe, they notice, they sense shifts in energy and rhythm, while others are waiting for a flashing light or a booming voice. The chosen respond to the silence between the noise. They feel when it is time to move, to act, to change, even when nothing external has changed. It is not the world that speaks louder to the chosen. It is the chosen who have learned how to listen. There is a deep misunderstanding in our modern world that signs are given only to the lucky few, that only the successful, the spiritual, or the gifted receive direction. But this belief is incorrect. The truth is that signs are everywhere, and they appear constantly. A moment of discomfort, a dream that stirs your soul, a phrase from a stranger that echoes something deep within you. These are all messengers, trying to guide you toward your path. But if you are too busy, too distracted, too consumed by external noise, you will miss them. Just as one cannot see the stars under the glare of city lights, one cannot recognize inner guidance when drowned in the chaos of unconscious living. The chosen are not those with more blessings. They are those who have trained their inner stillness to see what others ignore. And so when we say only the chosen see this before the 31st of July, it is not to elevate one group of people above another. It is a reminder that you are being invited into a different state of perception. This message, this very moment, may be the sign you were asking for, but the question is not whether the message is powerful. The question is whether you are ready to receive it. Are you watching with presence or just scrolling through time? Are you seeking comfort or awakening to purpose? The chosen are not superhuman. They are simply those who have decided to become conscious. They see the signs not because they are better, but because they are aware. And awareness, once awakened, changes everything. It transforms how you hear, how you move, how you live. It opens the door that was always there, waiting for you to finally notice it. Before change can occur in the outer world, it must first begin within. A man cannot change his circumstances if he is not first aware of the internal patterns that created them. Many people attempt to alter their lives by force, changing jobs, changing locations, chasing new relationships, without first cultivating awareness of their own behavior, habits, and thoughts. And so they find themselves in the same cycles, repeating the same lessons, suffering the same frustrations. The reason is simple: transformation is not triggered by action alone, it is triggered by awareness. You must first see yourself clearly before you can become something greater. This principle is central to the teachings of internal martial arts. Movement without awareness is chaos, but movement born from stillness, from clarity, becomes powerful, focused, and transformative. Awareness is not something mystical. It is a skill. It is the ability to observe your thoughts without becoming your thoughts, to witness your emotions without being swept away by them. When the Shaolin monk trains, his movements are not only physical, they are mental, emotional, and energetic. He becomes aware of how his body feels, how his breath moves, and how his mind reacts. This same practice applies to life. If you are unaware of how fear influences your decisions, then fear becomes your master. If you are unaware of how your habits silently shape your identity, then your destiny becomes an unconscious repetition. Awareness is the doorway to power. Only when you realize what is controlling you can you begin to release it. Only when you become present can you truly choose your next step. Transformation is not an accident. It is not the result of luck or good fortune. It is the result of clarity. In our modern world, we are trained to chase results, success, money, status, without first asking why we desire them. This absence of reflection leads to exhaustion, confusion, and burnout. Awareness slows us down. It demands stillness before motion, presence before progress. Without awareness, change is merely noise, superficial, temporary, and unstable. But with awareness, even the smallest act, waking up early, choosing discipline, letting go of distractions, becomes infused with power. And that is when transformation begins to take root. Not on the outside, but deep within. The tree grows in silence before it bursts through the ground. So too must you build your awareness in stillness before your life can rise into its next form. Some may ask, how do I become aware? The answer is both simple and difficult. You must pay attention. Pay attention to what you resist. Pay attention to where you escape, to what drains you, and to what ignites you. Awareness does not come by force. It comes through observation without judgment. The goal is not to fix everything at once, but to see clearly, to watch your thoughts like clouds, your reactions like waves, your habits like a mirror. When you do this, you begin to separate who you are from what you have been conditioned to become. You discover space between impulse and action, and in that space transformation is born. No great change can come to a person who is unaware of themselves. But the moment you begin to truly see your thoughts, your actions, your patterns, that is the moment you begin to reclaim your power. That is when your life begins to change, not by accident, but by conscious design. In the modern world, the idea of motivation has been glorified. People wait for the right mood, the right quote, the right moment of inspiration before they begin. But in Shaolin tradition, we are taught something very different. Motivation is fleeting. It rises like fire but fades like smoke. You cannot rely on it to build your life. You cannot wait for it to carry you through the storms of adversity. What endures is not how you feel in the moment, but what you commit to, despite how you feel. Discipline is the quiet force that does not shout but endures. It is not about energy, it is about choice. It is the act of doing what must be done, regardless of how the mind tries to bargain with comfort. There will be days when your body feels tired. Your mind will offer every excuse to stop, to delay, to wait for a more convenient time. This is where motivation disappears, and this is where discipline begins. Discipline does not ask how you feel. It asks, what did you promise yourself? Discipline is rooted in principle, not emotion. In Shaolin training, we wake before the sun. We train in heat, in cold, in silence. Why? Because our actions are not based on comfort, they are based on purpose. Discipline trains you to rise above the unstable nature of emotions. It teaches you that every moment of resistance is not a sign to quit, but an opportunity to deepen your strength. To depend on motivation is to live a life of inconsistency. You will begin things passionately but never finish. You will start projects, diets, relationships, dreams, but abandon them the moment the excitement fades. Discipline, on the other hand, brings you to mastery. It allows you to stay the course long after the feelings have left. Every great achievement, whether in martial arts, business, health, or personal transformation, was built on discipline. Not one great warrior or sage waited until he felt like it to begin. They acted in alignment with their vision, not their emotion. They rose in the morning not because they were excited, but because they were devoted. Discipline is not harsh. It is not punishment. It is a form of deep self-respect. You respect your path enough to walk it even when no one is watching. Modern society teaches us to chase pleasure and avoid discomfort. But the truth is, discomfort is where growth lives. Discipline teaches you how to enter that discomfort willingly, how to stay present with struggle, and how to endure what others avoid. Every time you follow through on your commitment, whether it's 5 minutes of training or resisting a distraction, you train your mind to become stronger than your emotions. This is not just about productivity, it is about identity. Each act of discipline reshapes how you see yourself. You are no longer someone who tries. You become someone who follows through. That shift in identity, quiet, powerful, unshakable, is what creates real transformation. It is not motivation that builds that identity. It is discipline, repeated, silent, and steady, that carries you from where you are to who you are meant to become. Time is often misunderstood. We treat it as if it is endless, as if tomorrow is owed to us, as if we can delay our responsibilities, our growth, our calling, without consequence. But time does not function like an unlimited resource. In reality, time is a door, and every door eventually closes. Each moment you are given is not a blank space to waste, but a passage you are meant to walk through. In Shaolin philosophy, we do not speak about time in hours or minutes. We speak of it in energy, in rhythm, in readiness. A student who is present and focused can learn in 1 month what another, distracted and indifferent, may not learn in 5 years. The difference is not in time itself, it is in how we enter it. To treat time as a guarantee is to live asleep. To see it as a door is to live awake. People live with the illusion that change will come later. Later when they have more energy. Later when they are less busy. Later when things calm down. But this later is a trap. It is a false promise that pulls you away from action. The truth is, life only ever happens now. The door is open now. The conditions will never be perfect. The feeling will never be completely comfortable. Waiting for the ideal moment is like waiting for still water in a rushing river. It never arrives. The wise understand that the door of time is open briefly, and that you must step through while it is still there. Inaction has a price. Delay has a cost, and by the time you realize it, the door may already have closed. And sometimes it does not reopen, not in the same way, not with the same opportunity. When a door of transformation opens, it comes with a quiet invitation. Are you ready? But it never waits for a response. If you do not walk through, someone else will. This is not a threat, it is simply the nature of life. Just like in martial arts, when an opening in your opponent's defense appears, you have a brief window to strike. If you hesitate, the opening is gone. The same is true for personal evolution. You are being presented with an opening right now. A choice to act, to train, to commit, to shift something inside yourself. If you keep postponing it, the rhythm will pass. Life moves forward without waiting for your decision. Discipline allows you to sense when the door is open. Awareness allows you to recognize it. And courage allows you to step through. Understand that not all doors are visible. Sometimes they appear as moments of discomfort. Sometimes they arrive in the form of a failure, a heartbreak, a message that stirs something inside you. Most people see these moments as obstacles, but the chosen see them as thresholds, tests that reveal whether they are ready to move forward. The month of July, the final days of any chapter, the turning of seasons, these are more than calendar markings. They are symbolic portals. If you are awake, you will recognize the closing of this month as the closing of one cycle and the invitation into a new one, but only if you walk through it with full attention and responsibility. Because when the door closes, the chance to enter with ease and grace is gone, and you may have to climb through the next one with hardship instead of harmony. That is why we say time is a door, not a guarantee. There are moments in life when something resonates so deeply that it seems to bypass the intellect and go straight to the soul. A phrase, a sound, a silence, or even a sentence in a video can feel like more than coincidence. It feels like a message, but such moments are not random. In Shaolin understanding, the outer world reflects the inner world, and what captures your attention is often what your soul is already searching for. So when you come across a message like this, especially at a specific time, like before the closing of a month, it is not simply content. It is a trigger, a spiritual activation. Something deep inside you is being awakened, not to consume more, but to become more. And whether you realize it or not, your soul has been waiting for this call. What makes something a spiritual trigger is not how dramatic or loud it is. In fact, the most powerful triggers are subtle. They come gently without force, but they leave a mark that cannot be forgotten. The mind may try to ignore it, dismiss it, scroll past it, but the body knows, the heart knows. There is a stillness inside you that recognizes truth, and when truth is heard, it causes a shift. That shift might come in the form of a decision, a moment of clarity, an urge to change, a sudden feeling that you must begin something now. But these are not emotions. These are instructions. Spiritual triggers do not aim to inspire, they aim to activate. They are reminders of what you already know deep down but have forgotten in the noise of life. And once activated, it becomes almost impossible to go back to sleep. The purpose of a spiritual trigger is to break the pattern. It disrupts the cycle you've been caught in, not by force but by insight. You suddenly realize that your excuses are no longer valid, that your delay is no longer tolerable, that the version of yourself you've been settling for is too small for the path you're meant to walk. In Shaolin, this is likened to the sound of the bell during morning meditation. You may be drowsy, you may resist, but the bell rings and something inside you wakes up, not just physically but mentally, spiritually. This message, if you are reading or hearing it before the 31st of July, is your bell. It is not meant for your entertainment. It is not background noise. It is the sacred interruption that calls you back to your deeper self, the one that remembers who you are and what you came here to do. Many will hear the same message, but not all will be moved by it. Why? Because only those who are ready will recognize it as a trigger. Others may scroll past, forget, or minimize it. That is not failure, it is simply timing. But for those who feel something stir inside, know this: you have been chosen not by accident, but by alignment. Your current mindset, your pain, your questions, your longing, they have all conspired to bring you to this very moment. And in this moment you have a choice to answer the call or to ignore it. If you answer, transformation will not be immediate, but it will be inevitable. Because once your spirit has been triggered, once you've heard the deeper call, you can no longer pretend not to know. The journey begins not when you are ready, but the moment you say, yes, I heard it and I will respond. So now the question is not whether the signs are real. The question is, will you act on what you've seen? There are no accidents in timing. If you are hearing this before the end of July, you were meant to. But time, like the breath, does not wait. It flows. You must decide, will you return to the familiar, or will you walk through the unfamiliar door that has opened? Will you continue to delay, or will you rise, calm, focused, and disciplined into the version of yourself that's been waiting to be claimed? The chosen are not different. They are simply those who choose with clarity, with courage, and with commitment. So breathe deeply, stand still for a moment, feel the pull inside you, and then move. Walk forward not with force, but with knowing. Because your life is not waiting to change. It is waiting for you to change.